we got independence, our educational planners gave a lot of importance to higher education, and IITs and IIMs were established. These are very expensive institutions, but it was realized by our educational planners that these institutions will develop the society. If we do not have good higher education institutions, our society will not be developed. So you know that we have IIT Kanpur, we have IIT Roorkee, we have IIT Kharagpur. So there were 5-7 IITs or 5-7 IIMs established. After few years, 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, after having spent crores of rupees on these IITs, when we got a education development index, and we realized wherever these institutions are located, that particular region is still backward. So when we counted our educationally backward districts, we found Roorkee is one of them in UP. Maybe other cities are not that backward, but Roorkee, in spite of having IIT, is backward. Same is true with Kharagpur. So somehow we realize that our higher education institutions are not really leading to societal growth. So, and that we see every day in our life. We have so many higher education institutions in Delhi, but still on every red light, we see children begging. Or I sometimes joke that just outside NCRT, red light, there are young children selling flowers, and Right to Education Act was the product of this campus, but outside the campus wall, we see the same kind of a situation. So our education system in our country has not led to societal growth. So what is this administratively, which we need to do in our higher education policies, that education is not just limited to classroom transactions or between the teacher and taught, but it goes out in the society, and everybody is the standard of everyone, the platform itself is raised, is a different kind of a growth. So that is one.
Slides are not moving. It's in the first slide.
Yeah, it is the first slide because still I'm talking about. Acha, what is education is not showing?
It is showing. It is showing, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. So I am still at self growth leading to societal growth.
Okay, ma'am.
This bullet, okay. So here I am trying to find discuss about what is the purpose of education and where we are lacking, and that's why NEP 2020 and how NEP 2020 is going to help. So one of the tenet is self growth versus societal growth. Now second, what is education is education meant having belief system or acquiring experience of our own? Belief system is like whatever is a particular belief that is transmitted from generations to generation. Or it is, education means acquiring our own experiences and then leading our life and then taking our decisions. What are your thoughts on it? What is education? Passing on beliefs or passing or allowing experiences to grow? What we do in our classrooms?
We give experience. We believe in a fact, and also we share our experiences.
We share our experiences, but that becomes a belief only. I mean, if my teacher is sharing his or her experience, then I am putting that as a belief in me. But is that is my experience?
It's both, ma'am. So we believe certain facts and we imbibe that and implement that, and we will ask our student to experience the same thing.
Yes. So if we have to make a student experience, then how our education system is designed? Are we not passing beliefs after one another, or we are allowing, or we are facilitating experiences to grow in our education system?
We are just passing the belief, madam. So we are not ex-
Very good.
we are,
Yeah, very
we
good.
we are
Yes,
not asking the student to experience. We are just passing the belief what we have to the student.
very good. So our entire learning material is basically a library of beliefs. Okay. And our most of the transactional strategies are passing the beliefs, but very less time or the strategies we are using for experience building. And there is a huge difference between belief and experiences. The way we conduct our life, if something is in our experience, that is forever, and if something is in our belief system, it is very, very superficial. Anybody will like to give an example of this belief versus experience, that why experience is very, very deep, whereas belief is very superficial?
Ma'am, God.
No. No, no. This is again, it is just a belief. I mean, just see from education point of view. For
It
example,
is a
I will,
belief.
yeah,
गॉड इज ऑन बिलीव मैम. हम सिर्फ
yes.
हमने देखा नहीं कभी, हमने सिर्फ हमने विश्वास किया उस पे ना. और
Mm,
एक्सपीरियंस चीजें अलग हो सकती हैं.
mhm. From learning strategy point of view, from pedagogical point of view, let's understand belief versus experience. Belief is that you say if you go deep in the water, you may get drowned. Okay. And experience is when you really go there and experience that water will go in your eyes and your nose, and if you take a deep breath and then you can save yourself, it's a very different experience. Now, when we have belief, the third bullet is saying belief is like memory, is cyclic, instrumental, parrot training, all these words we use, because that is what is infested in our educational system. Experience is something which goes beyond your memory, which goes deep in your genetic uh, level. And that is what, when you hear some spiritual speakers, they say that many of the traits which we are born with are in our cell level system, and that has come as experience, which we say it is a say that from the it's just from the generations that this group has been doing, and this task comes to their children, their offsprings, just by birth. So some kind of a learning goes deep down in your memories and even at your cellular level. That is experience. Am I making myself clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So
Yes, ma'am.
experience is a very deep type of a learning which just does not remain within my life or during my life span, but even gets passed on to next generations. Whereas belief doesn't even stay in the next situation, and I may change the belief, like honesty, trust, or whatever. So, but our entire education system is bogged down with beliefs. Our textbooks are nothing but writing about beliefs. Okay. That's why we say that it is a parrot training or it's memory. Our education system is bogged down on memory. So experience is a very, very deep down. From genes, it goes to the elements of our body, our chemistry or biological makeup, that it remains there for generations and it doesn't get lost. So that is the kind of experience which education system should be able to design and impart if we want societies to develop. Okay. If we want entire universe to develop or world to develop, so that is what is required, that what is education and what NEP is going to talk about it, how they want to change the entire paradigm of education system. Okay. So now, if that is the thing, what is the meaning of education? What we know educational framework, when we say what are the objectives of education system, okay, and how we make our educational framework design. So if you see, generally, we have three terms to know. One is educational output. We say degrees, we say grades, we say marks, we say percentile ranks or percentile scores. So if I am a teacher of a particular class and my class is pass or 100% result or distinction holders, or even as a person I have a degree. So this is a educational output. And most of us are very much happy and satisfied with educational outputs. If you see your annual reports, still, we write in our educational annual reports what is the result of each faculty. Engineering faculty, so result, 98% or whatever. Medical, this is the result. Education, this is the result. So our annual reports are showing the educational output of that particular university. Even at individual level or society level, we have degrees, being flaunted against our name. So and so doctor, so and so PhD, MCRS, FRCS, CA, whatever. So many degrees are outputs. I mean, interestingly, once there was a speaker and somebody was introducing that speaker, and he was a disability commissioner. So it is a very important position, and latest by RPWD Act. And I was very impressed when he said he's a doctor and he's also LLB. I said very, very, very apt that a doctor and LLB is a disability commissioner. But when the next slide came, there were, I think, at least 10 qualifications from all over. MBA, MA, political science, whatever. I was like aghast. I said, how somebody can acquire so many qualifications and then be really a socially useful person? And sometimes it is happening. I mean, one student came to me, was looking for a job. I said, okay, what have you done? He said, I have 8 MAs. I said, full time? He said, yes. I said, regular MAs, 2 years you have spent each MA, and 16 years you have been sitting in a university doing your MAs one after another. He said, yes, and is still looking for a job. So this is the kind of a situation which we are having when we focus on educational outputs and just degrees. And then finally we say these degrees are useless and they are not really giving that outcome what we desire. And outcome also, what is the definition we know of outcome? The job. We should be having some job by which we should earn. We don't have any policy or a system in our country that if somebody is MA should get a job of 40,000 at least minimum, or if somebody is BA should get a job of 30,000 at least minimum wages. We have minimum wages for skilled and unskilled, but not related to degrees. So sometime you will see that engineering graduate is coming and ready to take up a job as a project assistant or anything, even for 20,000 or 30,000 in a university system when they come for ad hoc position. So another criteria is a job. And we read the books or we read the reports of commissions and committees, which is again very disheartening, of course, to say that our engineers are not employable. Some committee report comes that, okay, we are having lakhs and lakhs of engineers, but they are not employable. So where are we failing? Our educational outcome of job is also very poor. I mean, I have a person who's PhD in political science and is seeking a job of 30,000. Say मुझे ad hoc में कैसे भी आप रख लीजिए कहीं भी project में, but The outcome of PhD is not there, and our jobs, our education system is not really giving that outcome also. So where we are, why we are failing in our country, and what we should do, and which are the other countries where we should look up and see where we want to go. Then the third, of course, is a word impact. If we are spending, education sector is the biggest sector. Why it is the biggest sector? Because it touches the life of each and everyone. Like we used to read, agriculture is the biggest sector, but agriculture, if we are the user of the agriculture product, same is education, which touches everybody. So if education sector, we are doing degrees, we are giving jobs, then what should be the impact? What we should see in our society is happening? Some development. So we know HDI index, where we fall, we are in the lowest in the ranking. So we are not very good in HDI. If we see GDP index, again, we are a developing country. We don't become even developed. I mean, very high in economic value. And our currency, how rupee is falling down related to dollar or euro or pounds, we know that we are not really coming. And if we see quality life, of course, other countries, OECD countries, they don't even include us because we don't fulfill all those criteria to become a member of a OECD country. So educational framework, if these three are the objectives, and in order to, I have not put down the baseline of this, which is the regulations or policies, which we are talking today, NEP, where NEP supports or doesn't support our outputs, outcomes, or impact, educational impact. So we will see that how NEP is going to help us or not going to help us, or where we have to go as functionaries of education. So now, if this is a framework, which are our peers, where are other countries and what they are doing? Okay, are they able to achieve it? Yes. There are OECD countries. We can pick up the report. I mean, you just Google it. All OECD countries are very high. I have just taken two because it will take too much of time. But just for example, if we say GER of higher education is 30, we should reach 30% GER in our country. So USA has highest GER. They have been able to achieve it. Singapore and UK are again very high, and their education systems are considered much, much better when we talk about quality. Germany, South Korea, which is not higher education, but vocational education, all 90%, their crowd is vocationally educated, and we are not. So why it is? And they are developed countries, they are OECD countries, and their education system is much better. We say that we have acquired our education system from UK, which is affiliating system of universities. But UK is still in the ranking higher, but we are not. So we, in our policy now, you will see, we will come up to that our recommendations are now moving away from UK system to other country system, what they are doing. But UK, even by that system, by that model, remains a very highly developed country or good in education, whereas we are not. So let's understand what we have been propagating as goals of higher education in India ever since our 5-year plans we started making ever since our education, our India got independence. So we made 12 5-year plans. And if you read the higher education section of 5-year plans, these 4 goals for education system are being repeated in every plan. We wanted equity, we wanted quality education, we wanted education to be relevant, that whoever wants to achieve what, we should be able to do it. and we wanted affordable education, that everyone should be able to afford that. What have we done for equity? Anybody can say what are our policies to achieve equity, which we are following in our education system? What are we doing for equity at present? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All of us are, we know it, what we are doing for equity.
Ma'am,
Maybe to reduce the poverty.
Ma'am, equal opportunity
Yes. So
like a scholarship or fee reservation to those student, or education for all, like 14-year education, primary education is free.
yes. Okay. Good. So you know that for equity, we have brought out reservation policies, we have brought out a scholarship schemes, and we have also brought out free ships. Okay, freebies, what we call in education. But where we are failing, that we will discuss slowly. Now for quality, what are we doing?
We are bringing the IITs, IIM systems, and NIT systems.
Okay, so we are establishing few typically kind of institutions. Now for every one of us, what are we doing for quality? What policy we know of?
we are updating our knowledge system, ma'am.
Okay, so you are attending this NEP orientation program. This is one kind. What else we are doing for quality?
Ma'am, monitoring or accreditation, or like NAC visit वगैरह, ranking, NIRF.
Fine, that is for institutional quality. For individual faculty quality, what are we doing?
क्वालिफिकेशन एंड एक्सपीरियंस क्राइटेरिया, मतलब आप कह सकते हैं कि जॉब, मतलब आप ये इस पोजीशन के लिए बेसिक क्या रिक्वायरमेंट होगी,
Good.
यानी
Good. So that's the thing I want to discuss, that what we are doing from, we have these all goals. So NEP is nothing new. Okay. So what we have done as a quality, you know, in your API score or in your performance, when you apply, you have to write your research score. Okay. Publication and research score. So in one of the article I was reading that how much research grant is given. Now, and in the annual report of UGC, there is an amount written. 23 lakh is distributed as a research grant, okay? Or maybe whatever, some figure is written in this year, this much lakh is distributed. Now, if you divide, I did a little calculation and I said, okay, if you see how many faculty members are there in the country, in the education system, and if we divide with that, everyone is not even getting 2 rupees for research. Now, if one person gets a crores, another person doesn't get even 4 lakhs in 5 years to do a research, then the quality as a researcher, quality of this individual as a researcher will get compromised. We are not still not talking about outcome of that research, whether that research was valid, reliable, or scalable or usable. I'm saying even as a quality of a faculty member, as a researcher, as an analyst, as a data collector, as a user of ICT is not enhanced because those kind of facilities are not given. And in our indicators, we have the APIs for the faculty. But when we say UGC, look, whether you could reach all faculty members, they are also not giving that how many faculty members have been given research grant. They are only mentioning the total grant which is issued or which is sanctioned in a particular year. So total grant can go to AMU or JMI, but that doesn't mean that my entire country is really getting that grant and getting that purpose served. So quality is again compromised there. Now, what is relevance and what are we doing for relevance?
Maybe we are bringing about some ICT kind of education or STEM-based educations that is relevant to the particular in order to increase the quality of a education.
Okay, any other idea on relevance? What is relevance? This is one of the goal which is mentioned in all committee commission reports or in your 5-year plans or this thing. What are the goals of higher education in India? These 4 are the tenants everywhere it is mentioned. So what is relevance? What we are talking about when we say relevance?
मैम जिस भी हम एजुकेशन की बात करते हैं, चाहे वो मेडिकल की, इंजीनियरिंग की, और तो वो उससे रिलेटेड होना चाहिए.
Okay, related to whom? To what?
Related to field or field requirement or student related, student oriented.
Okay, so what are we doing at present? What are our policies to make our education relevant? In 70 years, we have done something. So what have we done?
We change policy time to time, like practical implementation or practical exposure to the student.
Okay, good point.
To make relevant.
We have made curriculum more practical oriented. Okay, what else we have done?
Sorry, ma'am.
What else have we done?
Skill-based courses.
Yes. So very important initiative we have done is a skill-based courses. Okay. And what third thing what we have done?
Ma'am, we are changing our teaching methodologies
Okay.
to meet the need of the current society.
That comes in the quality quadrant.
Okay.
We have come out with some more courses and also it's open to all in any time they can do.
Okay, so you can say diversification of curriculum is also one of the type of relevance. And what have we done to bridge the gap between academia and industry?
Internship program, training program, field visit.
Very good. So we have brought out internship law, we have brought out training programs, and we have changed that. So this is what we have done for relevance. Now,
करिकुलम डेवलपमेंट में भी हम इंडस्ट्री के लोगों को शामिल करते हैं ताकि हमारी जो सिलेबस है, जो करिकुलम है, वो उस तरीके से डेवलप हो के इंडस्ट्री की रिक्वायरमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग और अप टू डेट रहे.
ठीक है. So this is, and now internship is mandatory in many of the courses and which is also paid and sometimes unpaid. Now, what have we done to make education affordable? That everyone should get educated. Because we feel education is very, very expensive and everybody cannot afford it. And that's why, you know, people are not educated and we are not getting that output or impact. What have we done to make it affordable?
We have increased number of colleges, institutes, universities, and fellowships, scholarships.
Yes, fellowship.
Online platforms for courses, ma'am.
We have increased fellowship and scholarships, but we have not really made it free. And sometimes we do hear such voices that rather than giving free ration, you better give free education, because that will take the development at a much faster speed than anything. So education affordability is still a concern, though it is a misconstrued concern also at times, because we do have free schooling and with midday meal and free uniform and textbook, but still our children are on the roads. So maybe free ships are not that attractive, but affordable. Yes, we have to make education affordable, and there's some kind of a system has to come that everybody has to learn something and of some level. Why? So this is another thing. When we talked about OECD countries, or when we talk about our ranking in HDI, GDP, and other indexes, our country is only fifth class pass. That means the average qualification of Indians is 5. So if all prime ministers are queued up, and then my prime minister is only fifth class pass, whereas others are 12th, 10th, or average number of years of qualification is that high. So this is something which is very bad, and we are very poor, and we are only at this level, and which is not a very good situation, and we need to change. As I am mentioning that 70 years, 12 5-year plans, and every 5-year plan has a full chapter on education. And after that, Niti Aayog and our annual indicators in Niti Aayog reports, we are somewhere are not really reaching. So very innovative way of NEP came, NEP is just a vision document, okay? It has not come as a regulation. Now let's understand what is the difference in a vision document and a regulation or a policy. Vision document is where philosophers or knowledgeable people, they put the ideas which are generated through consultations, or generated through surveys, or generated through experimental designs or research studies, and they say, okay, this is what we need to do. And something we have done, we 70 years of our 5-year plans and our schemes and our allocation of budget, which is not very bad either, though not very good, which is only, how much is the budget for education? Percentage of GDP? Anyone? What is our budget for education?
6%, ma'am.
No, that is what we are asking for.
Actually, I think less than 1%, ma'am.
No, 6% we are asking as academicians. Every time when we write a report or research report or improvement, we say at least give us 6%. But what is generally given to us in our budget?
Maybe 3%.
Yes, 2.8 or something. It's not even 3, touching 3. So our GDP layout is still less, but still whatever we have been doing in these 70 years through these budget allocation, there are a lot many schemes which we have talked that for affordability, relevance, quality, equity, we have laid out. Now this is what is NEP on higher education. So this is just to let you know how NEP has some 9 to 19 topics which are just higher education, and some things which we are talking which lead to what we need to do. Now this is a kind of a document which is there, and you and I are discussing, and not only this session, all of us all over the country, 111 MMTTCs, 2 courses per month, and this session in every course is discussing how we should be implementing NEP, these recommendations, 10 recommendations to make higher education workable and to achieve the goals for which higher education should be. Okay, so before what higher education should be, again, is a topic. If time permits, we will discuss that. Otherwise, I will just go as per this stream. So if this is the higher education recommendations, these are the pages. Do we have any implementation plan? NEP, does it have an implementation plan for these recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it? What is the implementation plan?
First, we need to be educated. I mean, all the teachers or all the higher institutions needs to be aware of what is the thing. And next thing is implementing in a state wise.
No, that is not an implementation plan. Have you,
Depend on university, ma'am.
no. Have you seen this document Sarthak?
No, ma'am.
No. Has anybody seen the document Sarthak?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. So here this, I mean, Sarthak is a very good document which has come after NEP, but not for higher education. This is a document for school education. So the chapters which are related to school education, they have been converted into targets. And also each target has an agency as an actor and also a timeline. That okay, NCRT will do this by 2023 or by 2024, and this will be the visible outcome of that. But that kind of a document for higher education in NEP is not there. Okay, why it is not there? Let's discuss it. Okay, why it is not there, and can we really have it? So, what is the vision written for higher education? Anybody can read it out aloud?
Higher education must form the basis for knowledge creation and innovation, thereby contributing to a growing national economy. The purpose of quality higher education is therefore more than the creation of greater opportunities for individual employment. It represents the key to more vibrant, socially engaged, cooperative communities and happier, cohesive, cultured, productive, innovative, progressive, and prosperous nation.
Okay. So this is a paragraph copied from NEP, and this is written what is the vision of higher education. Now, whatever we have discussed in previous slides, you think it is matching with that? Or is it different?
It's different, ma'am.
Okay, how?
Knowledge creation is there, but it is not happening with the innovation.
Okay.
मैम इसमें इंडिविजुअल एम्प्लॉयमेंट की बात की गई है। जो हम शिक्षा के जिस उद्देश्य की बात शुरू में कर रहे थे, वो उद्देश्य यहाँ से गायब है।
नहीं है ना, पहले देखिए, from the basis of knowledge creation and innovation, thereby contributing to growing national economy. तो इसमें ले आए वो नेशनल इकोनॉमी को। ओके, वो ये नहीं कह रहे कि एक इंडिविजुअल ही अमिताभ बच्चन बन जाए और औरों को एक्टिंग का ए भी ना आता हो। नेशनल इकोनॉमी मतलब पूरा इसमें लाए वो उसको। अब इसका प्रॉब्लम देखिए, ठीक है, सार्थक इसके पर क्यों नहीं बन सकता? ये लिखा हुआ है पैराग्राफ। अब मैं यहाँ पे आपको थोड़ा सा समझाती हूँ। ये जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स लिखे जाते हैं, ये मैं और आप वहां बैठ के हम, क्योंकि हमें एकेडमिक जो हम बिलीफ सिस्टम का हमने पहले बात करी थी, हम उस बिलीफ सिस्टम को ही रिट्रोटिक फॉर्म में लिखते जाते हैं। बहुत अच्छे अच्छे डॉक्यूमेंट्स लिखते हैं, बहुत अच्छी अंग्रेजी लिखते हैं और उसी को रिपीट करते जाते हैं, यहाँ तक कि जो चीज एक डॉक्यूमेंट में होती है वो वही सेंटेंस और वही गलतियां भी दूसरे डॉक्यूमेंट्स में आती जाती हैं, आती रहती हैं, बढ़ती ही रहती हैं। So this is a document which is written, but here Sarthak type of a document cannot come. Why? Because this language or this terminology is not really what you can say can be converted into action. Okay, so you know the educational objectives, we say behavioral terms objectives. So if there are no behavioral outcomes of an objective, of educational objective, Bloom's taxonomy, if those of us which are from educational studies background, will know that Bloom's taxonomy teaches us that how we have to write learning objectives. So this kind of paragraph sometimes is misleading to or is understood differently by different people. Okay, let's do an exercise on this. Now, these words are picked up from the previous paragraph. If we have to choose a measurement unit that I have to see whether I am vibrant or you are vibrant, how will you measure it? What is the unit of measurement? Socially engaged, cooperative communities, and a happier, cohesive culture, productive, innovative, progressive, and prosperous nation. All of you take out a piece of a paper and write it down. Unit of the measurement. Whatever you can. If for all, it's okay. If not for all, then for some. And then present it here. Then only we can make an implementation plan. Anybody? All of you try and write down that you are supposed to make an implementation plan. How will you measure it? Will you give A, B, C, D? Will you give marks 0 to 100? Will you do in liters or meters or inches? How will you measure it? What is the unit of measurement? Just take 3 minutes, okay? Once you write, then raise your hand to share.
मैम पीपीटी नहीं दिखाई दे रही है।
पीपीटी मैंने नीचे किया इसीलिए जिससे मैं आपको देख सकूं, पर मैं दोबारा से कर देती हूँ। ओके, अभी करते हूँ। Yes. So write the units and standards against these goals. Anyone ready to share? Anyone ready to share? Measurement units and standard of measurement and unit of measurement. कहाँ गए सब लोग? कुछ तो बोलिए.
Participants,
Yes.
मैम
Yes,
अभी
sir. Yes, sir.
देख रहे हैं.
Yes, sir.
Please,
sir.
so blank paper भी कर सकते हैं आप. You can submit blank paper. This question paper is out of syllabus. You couldn't write anything. That's okay. Anybody could write any measurement unit or standard of measurement. No or yes?
Ma'am, may I say something?
Yes. Tell me.
Yes, these things cannot be measured by the traditional matrix,
Okay.
the matrix that you have just mentioned, because vibrancy cannot be measured. The first four categories that were there, if you please share the screen for all of us.
Okay.
Vibrancy, uh, 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 cultural cohesion, cohesive community,
Yeah.
etc., cannot be measured by the traditional matrix of measurements, because these are not quantifiable, if I
Okay.
may say. Vibrance, social engagement, comparative cooperative communities, happiness, these are not quantifiable, even though a lot of research work is going on happiness index. Recent researches are emerging, but I don't know if this can be applied to a vision document that we are trying to understand and implement in the coming future, because happiness index is also a very emerging field. Same goes for cohesion and culture. I think the only thing that can be measured to a certain extent is not exactly the categories mentioned here, but is mentioned in the only thing that can be mentioned measured is employability, perhaps, and the relation to employability and progression. But then again, that begs the question, how do we define progression? Because each of these categories has to be defined first in order
Yes.
to be measured. So
True.
in that way, I believe that this document is, how should I put it, a little, as you said, very nice to hear, and has been a good exercise for those who wrote it. And it indeed is important, because after all education strives to do this.
Okay.
But it cannot be measured until and unless the vision document includes definitions or narrows down the scope of all these categories. I mean, how does NEP define vibrant? How does it define, social engagement in a country as diverse as India?
Very good.
Considering India.
So now you see, you and I, we agree with the vision which is written in the document. Okay. We feel, yes, this is what needs to be done. And we have been writing this since last 70 years in all our 12 5-year plans. And it is there in the NEP 2020 also. Now, this training program, which we are attending today, is how we should be implementing this. So the NEP, when they are talking, they are also given us some strategies. So let's see whether these strategies which are suggested will lead us to this kind of details, or the society, or our country as a developed country, or a Viksit Bharat, which is another slogan which we hear. So these are again strategies written. And when we sometimes agree or disagree, or sometimes criticize, or sometimes over enthusiastically go and implement something, we must keep in mind that that particular scheme or a strategy is meant for what? What is the spirit behind it? So let's discuss one by one. Anybody will read the first bullet. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Moving towards a higher educational system consisting of large multidisciplinary universities and colleges with at least one in or near every district, and with more HEIs across India that offer medium of instruction of programs in local or Indian languages.
Okay. So now you must have, or you must be having one session on multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, what are the courses or subjects which is there, which is being discussed, that how we will make universities and courses multidisciplinary. So what are your apprehensions or fears or agreement or disagreements or strategies? What do you think we will be doing for this particular strategy? What you are saying, the description that we will be leading, and where will it lead? Multidisciplinary, let's say multidisciplinary universities and colleges.
Madam, it is a need of the hour where the student will not be in a situation to learn only one particular thing, and he will be learning and he'll be acquiring all types of skills. So that will help in overall development of a student. Along with that, when we have different types of courses, the student acceptance and student input also will be more, and that's how this will help in student overall growth.
So were we wrong when we created disciplines, which we have been following since last 100 years? What went wrong when we created disciplines, and what that wrong we want to change?
Maybe, ma'am, that is an outdated where we are believing some of the facts. Say, for example, we have come out with one particular subject, so that we have taught in a deep. Probably as world is progressing, we need a deeper understanding of the particular knowledge where the many avenues have opened. So therefore, we need to have multidisciplinary. Yes, ma'am.
Is that the spirit of this multidisciplinary, or it is something else?
Actually, ma'am, I think multidisciplinary subject or studying in a multidisciplinary way actually leads to the development of multidisciplinary in research, because research is not it's not open-ended and it's not one-dimensional. Now research is research in research we see there is the development of varied fields of study. For example, when we are studying animal history, we are also studying environmental history. When we are studying environmental history, we are also studying climate change history. So if we don't understand the value of a multidisciplinary subject, and if we don't popularize that, then in a very simplest form among the students, then research will be very much one dimensional. So from the elementary stage, I think students should know what is multidisciplinary aspect of an educational system. I think that.
Yes,
Actually.
from research point of view, you have very well said that when you do a research, say a treatment of transplant, liver transplant, but you know that how to transplant the liver, fine, but you don't know what are its impact on other parts of the body, colon,
Yes,
or
ma'am.
so it
Yeah,
is happening that liver has been transplanted, but other body parts are affected. So
yeah,
it is my expertise of a particular discipline, but I don't know about other. And we see that in our society that a very good accountant or finance officer is not very good in communicating. He's not able to read or he's not able to speak so that
yeah,
others understand what he or she wants. A very good musician is very good musician, but he doesn't know maybe how to keep bank account or how to manage his money, or he has been duped or doesn't know how to navigate in a social life. So
yeah,
multidisciplinary is from that perspective also, that once you raise your bar in one particular area, then other areas also should not be very low. It should not be a ratio of 0 to 100. Okay.
Yeah.
So there should, if you are 100, good enough, you are 100 in that. But then other areas of your life should also be around 40, 50. So the bar has to be raised for everything. So multidisciplinary is from that perspective. And when you see the goals of education, when you see the first slide
Yeah.
of impact, so that the definition of here is to see the impact in the society. Okay, I am a very good doctor, but am I a good finance manager? Am I a good communicator? Am I a good record keeper also of all the documents? So that is a kind of required.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, very true. At least a jack of all trades,
Ma'am,
master of none. At least it's not true in this age.
Yes.
At least through the new
madam,
educational system
with a
that we are
limited
facing.
ma'am, I have something to ask. With a limited time, is it possible to achieve good in everything? Because keeping multidisciplinary, see, for example, if you're a doctor, you have to go deep into the subject, learn all the tricks and traits of surgery. Then, along with that, if you know how to do the financing, and he may put lot of he may put less effort in the what the subjects he wants to do. Is it not a time consuming, ma'am, multidisciplinary approach?
Very good point you have raised. And that is what this discussion should take. Now, here, understand one more thing. Hone. When we say jack of all trade, doesn't mean you should practice all trades. For example, I am a very good cook, but I cook never. I don't do cooking. Okay. And because I am working in other areas and I'm doing that, the day I cook, my family is like, they have got the feast. They are so happy. But that doesn't mean that I am putting my time and energy standing in the kitchen. So if you are a very good doctor and you are doing operations, you are doing heart surgeries, but at least you know that where the money, what money I have earned, where it is going, whether I'm spending in fixed deposits or mutual funds or in equity funds, and where is what. I mean, there are some examples. There was a professor of finance, and when he retired, he neither had pension nor GPF. Now, what do you say? And he was a professor of finance all through his life.
What I would say, madam, maybe it may not be a 50-50% or 75-25, even 10% of knowledge is fine. But putting 50-50 equal or equal to all the subjects may not be a good.
Fine. So what here, that's the thing we all need to discuss. What is this multidisciplinary concept in NEP? That university should be multidisciplinary. Are they meaning that you should sacrifice the expertise in one or in a very, very, I mean, do they want just everybody to be fifth class pass or 10th class pass and nobody expert? No. I think no. All of us, because we are the stakeholder or beneficiaries, we are going to create multidisciplinary universities and multidisciplines within us. So what is that which is being said and what is that which we got to implement? How many discipline and how transdiscipline or multidisciplines? Should we make just experts or should we make, common platforms? Now let's understand. If you see the education system, uh, 3 decades ago, there was diversification of subjects after class 8th. So only up to class 8th, a child was learning all subjects. And in 9th, they used to choose a stream, okay? Humanities, science, commerce. And then again in 11th and 12th. This was changed when we got 1986 policy. We made all subjects compulsory up to class 10th. So we raised that bar of multidisciplinary knowledge to all. And if you remember or if you can recollect, when we were diversifying up to class after class 8, many of the students didn't know very basics of maths or science, because that was not to be studied by them. So we raised the bar and we made it up to class 10th. Everybody will study all the subjects, and diversification started in class 11th and 12th. Now the diversification of subjects in class 11th and 12th is also badly implemented. Why? I tell you. When I was secretary CBSE, many of the people came and asked me which stream we should, which subject should we study. I said, you study any subject. There's no concept of a stream. They used to look at me, say, what is this madam? She's just out of her mind. I said, CBSE offers 230 subjects. A child has to pass only 5 subjects to be called that you are 12th pass. Any 5 subjects. If you read the statutes of the or bylaws of the examination board, it does not say stream, any 5 subjects. And that is minimum. If you are intelligent enough, you can take 7, you can take 8, you can take 10 subjects. There is no bar for maximum number of papers. There is a bar only for minimum number of papers. Now, this concept, this is a rule which is written, it's a text of the policy, but it is not followed in the country. Why? Now, here comes that platform when we say our policies are the implementation tool. Why? Because a child is forced into streams not for class 12th level studies, but to get admission in BSc or NEET or JEE or anything else, that you should have a combination of math, physics, chemistry to do this. You should have combination of commerce, eco, accounts for doing this. You should have combination of this for doing whatever. So because of that entry requirement of some higher level course, people are studying that even in 11th and 12th, which is not the purpose of senior secondary level education. What is the purpose of senior secondary level education? Now here, let's discuss this. What is the purpose of primary level education? What is the purpose of elementary level education? What is the purpose of secondary level education? And what is the purpose of higher education level? We have these labels. Why do we have these labels? Because there is a different purpose. Anyone, what is the purpose of primary education?
Ma'am, the age of a student where he cannot learn the higher things.
No,
So that primary.
no, not at all. This is
मैम
good.
बेसिक
Yeah.
एजुकेशन सभी मतलब सभी क्षेत्र के बारे में, सभी फील्ड के बारे में उनको बेसिक जानकारी देना.
No, not at all. What is the goal of primary education? Class 5.
मैम बच्चों का मेंटल डेवलपमेंट, फिजिकल डेवलपमेंट, उनका मोरल डेवलपमेंट, सोशल डेवलपमेंट, और मेन जो उनको अर्थमेटिक नॉलेज है, जो लैंग्वेज लर्निंग है, ये सब उसका गोल होता है.
नहीं, उसका गोल ये सही है, आप पर थोड़ा सा ट्विस्टेड है. प्राइमरी एजुकेशन का गोल है कि जो बच्चा है वो एक सोशल इंडिविजुअल बने, क्योंकि बच्चे को कुछ नहीं मालूम है कि सोसाइटी क्या है, उसमें मुझे कैसे जीना है, मुझे टॉयलेट कहाँ जाना है, खाना कहाँ है, तो क्या चीज उठानी है, ये दुकान है इसमें मुझे पैसे दे के चीज लेनी होती है, ये आदमी है, ये बड़े हैं, मुझे नमस्ते करनी होती है, मुझे कपड़े पहनने होते हैं, मुझे किसी को कैसे ग्रीट करना है, तो मुझे लैंग्वेज सीखनी है, मुझे कुछ सोसाइटी में इंटरेक्ट करना है, तो मुझे पैसों का लेन देन आना चाहिए. तो एक सोशल इंडिविजुअल बन जाए, वो इतना ही ऑब्जेक्टिव है क्लास 5th तक का. अगर वो बच्चा अपनी बात बोल सके, सोसाइटी में अपने आप को नेविगेट कर सके, तो हमने उस प्राइमरी एजुकेशन का ऑब्जेक्टिव पूरा हो गया. अब एलिमेंट्री जो क्लास 8 है, उसका क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव है? एलिमेंट्री का क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव है?
मैम आगे हायर एजुकेशन के लिए तैयार करना
नहीं है, यही तो सबसे बड़ी गलती है हमारे एजुकेशन में। हमारी किसी भी लेवल का ऑब्जेक्टिव उसकी अगली सीढ़ी के लिए तैयार करना नहीं है। इसी को मैं यहाँ पे मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में समझा रही हूँ कि जो प्राइमरी है उसमें हमने ये समझ लिया इसको एलिमेंट्री में जाना है, ये पर्पस है, तो पढ़ाए जाओ, हिंदी पढ़ ले, इंग्लिश पढ़ ले, मैथ्स पढ़ ले, ये नहीं है उसका ऑब्जेक्टिव। ऐसे ही सेकेंडरी का ऑब्जेक्टिव है कि जब आप क्लास 12th कर लो तो आप में कोई ऐसा स्किल सेट हो कि आप इस दुनिया में अपने आप को इतना कमा सकें कि खुद खा लें और 3 लोगों का और खिला सकें। ये है क्लास 12th हायर सेकेंडरी का लेवल का ऑब्जेक्टिव, जिसके लिए हम उसे कहते हैं ये वोकेशनलाइज हो जाए। ठीक है, लेकिन अभी हम ये आप और मुझे समझना है कि जब हम 11th एंड 12th या 9th और 10th में पढ़ा रहे हैं तो हम उसे पढ़ाए जा रहे हैं कि तुझे बीएससी में एडमिशन कैसे मिले, या तुझे एमबीबीएस में एडमिशन कैसे मिले, या तुझे जेई में एडमिशन कैसे मिले। जो हमने कोटा इंस्टीट्यूट्स खोल दिए वही हमने अपने रेगुलर एजुकेशन को भी कोटा ही बना दिया है, ये नहीं है उसका पर्पस। तो ये जो आपकी पहली लाइन है मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी, ये उसी को कह रही है कि ये पर्पस नहीं है एजुकेशन का कि आप अगले स्टेज में पीएचडी में एडमिशन मिल जाए, एमफिल में मिल जाए, एमटेक में मिल जाए इसलिए बीटेक करो, ये ऑब्जेक्शन नहीं है। ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है बीटेक करने का कि बीटेक करने के बाद आप क्या कर सको, आप में क्या क्या गुण आने चाहिए। अगर आपको एक स्पेशलाइजेशन करना है तो बीटेक के बाद एमटेक करेंगे, एमटेक के बाद आप रिसर्च करेंगे, रिसर्च के बाद पीटी पोस्ट डॉक्टरेट करेंगे। लेकिन आप जब बीटेक में हैं तब आपको क्या क्या चीजें आनी चाहिए टू सर्वाइव योरसेल्फ ऑन दिस अर्थ, दैट इज द पर्पस ऑफ मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी।
लेकिन मैम इसके लिए तो मल्टीपल पॉलिसी के लेवल पे काम करना होगा, क्योंकि अभी तो जो मेंटेलिटी है लोगों की वो 6th क्लास से नीट की तैयारी शुरू करवा देते हैं।
परफेक्ट, परफेक्ट, वही चाहते हैं, वही मैं और आप समझेंगे तभी तो बदलेंगे। पहले तो हम और आप समझें। अब ये जो नीट का इतना तमाशा हो रहा है कंट्री में, क्यों हो रहा है? वो तो है ही, जो एनटीए है उसकी तो है ही प्रॉब्लम कि उसको एक माइन मिल गई, उसमें से उसने निकालना शुरू कर दिया। लेकिन एज ए सोसाइटी ऑल्सो समवेयर वी फेल्ड टू गो सो हाई। अब इसको सुनिए, बहुत ही बढ़िया है, मजेदार है ये। अगर मैं नीट के थ्रू एमबीबीएस नहीं बनता या डॉक्टर नहीं बनता, इज देयर एनी अदर रूट अवेलेबल फॉर मी टू प्रैक्टिस मेडिसिन और टू बिकम ए डॉक्टर?
नहीं।
Or should be there?
Yes.
Yes. So was there any other policy in the past which allowed it?
Entrance exam of the university and
बताइए क्या थी, कुछ थी स्कीम ऐसी?
मैम इंडिया का तो नहीं पता, चाइना में वहां पे जो लोकल डॉक्टर्स थे उनको ट्रेनिंग देकर और उनको ही प्रैक्टिस के लिए तैयार किया गया। जब वहां पे क्योंकि पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा है और जब हेल्थ कंडीशन को सुधारना था तो उन्होंने क्या किया, उसको कुछ टर्म दिया, एग्जैक्ट मुझे याद नहीं है, पर उन्होंने जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे आशा है तो वहां पे उन्होंने इसी लेवल पे अपने वहां के जो लोकल जो ट्रेडिशनल डॉक्टर्स थे उनको ट्रेनिंग दी और देन उसके बाद उनको प्रैक्टिस का परमिशन भी दिया।
परफेक्ट, वही हम लोग भी यहाँ इंडिया में कोशिश कर रहे हैं। जो हमारा जो आपका एक होगा इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम पे भी एक सेशन होगा, तो जो इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम में है जितने लोग हैं हमारे मेडिसिन के, उनको हम ब्रिज कोर्स करके एलोपैथी डॉक्टर भी बन सकते हैं। दे कैन चेंज होम्योपैथी टू एलोपैथी, आयुर्वेदिक टू एलोपैथी, यूनानी टू एलोपैथी, whatever, intersectional or nursing section can become a doctor after a bridge course. In engineering, we do have from ITI to Polytechnic, Polytechnic to engineering, there is a route. There is a Sant Longowal Institute of Technology in Patiala. It's a very good example that how ITI student goes and becomes a polytechnic student, and from there they become an engineering student also. Not all, but there is an entry available. Now, that is why NEET is so contested in India, whereas medical in USA is not contested. Even a BSc student, if they pass USMLE, they can be a registered doctor. So there's nothing like MBBS course in US. There is a science graduation, and after science graduation, you sit for USMLE, and then you go for your MD, what we call MD in India. Whereas in India, you cannot enter. Our BSc, MSc students, they may be having quite a similar knowledge what MBBS student learns, but they cannot enter into a medical branch. So if that is the concept here, could be a concept here, can we not have multiple entry and exits? That is another strategy somewhere going to be discussed, and multidisciplinary programs. Okay.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is one. Second is more multidisciplinary undergraduate education, so that we don't remain tied to one area only and we don't have knowledge of other areas, which is the third. What is it saying? Moving towards faculty and institutional autonomy. What do you understand by this? What is this strategy?
Ma'am, institutional autonomy would give institutions the freedom to design their own course, because traditionally an undergraduate college in India, if they are not autonomous, is affiliated to an university and must adhere to the course, the examination, everything designed by the university. But if a college becomes autonomous, the college can design its own courses depending on the need of the students, the cluster area in which it is situated. It can, in accordance with a larger vision, that it can design its own courses, conduct its own exam, and give the degree, so that going forward it can find out, depending on the economic need or the social need of the region in which the college is situated, institution is situated, it can design its own course, and it can come out of the, it is no longer bound to the university course curriculum, pedagogy, everything else.
Okay. So you're right. Pedagogy in any case is an autonomy of a teacher. Curriculum,
Of course, pedagogy.
but curriculum was a bonding. Now, what is autonomy to the faculty? What NEP could be suggesting? What do they want? How autonomy to faculty?
A faculty can design her or his own courses. Because in my experience, when I'm teaching, I have to adhere to the syllabus or the curriculum designed by the affiliate university. But if my institution and faculty autonomy is granted, then I can design my own course and float it and conduct the entire process on my own under the aegis of the institution I am employed in. This gives me much greater freedom, because in the traditional system, I can only teach. I have no control on examination process nor the designing of curriculum. But the faculty autonomy will give me greater freedom. It would also give me the freedom, if the current document of NEP is to be implemented, to collaborate with other institutions which are also autonomous and float collaborative or autonomous courses.
Maybe
Whereupon,
maybe you are right if that is this. Now, this is regarding, yes,
Ma'am,
Flexibility in mode of teaching.
yeah, mode of teaching is even today where we are autonomous, whether I give you assignments, lectures, or practical. So mode of teaching is autonomy is still there. Curriculum and the geographical boundaries are still created. Another point which we missed here, we are still focused on teaching as a major role. But if you see the first slide, impact on the society, and even in API and all, it is written, the one area which is totally missing from our work schedule is extension work. We are doing teaching, we also publish because API score is there, but we don't do any extension activities, and that is the reason we say that there are beggars on the red light just outside the university campuses, or the child outside the school building and child inside the school building. There is so much of a difference and there is no equity. Why should there be so much of a difference between the two children inside the building and outside the building? So if the autonomy is given to faculty and institution, maybe faculty can carve out some programs for the betterment of the society and can change the landscape of that village or mohalla or of that district or state, which is being done also through policy or political mandate at times, that you adopt a village or you adopt this, but not really in true sense. So
Ma'am,
yes,
if too much of autonomy has been given to the faculty as well as to the institution,
yeah,
on the system gets diluted because nobody will be watching. There will not be third eye or second eye, and you yourself will be deciding the syllabus. You yourself will be giving a result. Any Tom, Dicky, Harry can also can come out with the beautiful result. So all those things can happen when we dilute too much. When you give autonomy status to all the institution or faculty,
very
then
true. Very true. And in this, if you see the history, that's why I'm saying the NEP has not, this is not a new idea. Autonomy was given even in a 5-year plan, and colleges and schools were asked to come up and apply for autonomy to UGC. And if you see, I think it was eighth 5-year plan or ninth 5-year plan. And some colleges, they applied for autonomy. Even some schools applied for autonomy and they wanted to break away from CBSE. And there is a report, research report on autonomy. You know what happened? None of the student wanted this. They still wanted the name of that university by which that college was affiliated. So a student didn't go for it to those schools or colleges or institutions which were autonomous. Same happened with the CCE scheme. When autonomy was given to schools that, okay, there will not be any board exam, the only school will conduct the board exam, the children were not really happy. They said, no, we want CBSE certificate. So autonomy is that's why this is, again, we come back here, this document is a vision document. It has not come up with any strategies or laid down legislation like Sarthak or any other, because here you and I are supposed to thresh out what are the problems or what kind of a social context we are living in, where whether it is could be achieved or may not be achievable. So this is an idea, autonomy, and to faculty and to the institutions, and maybe we have to work out to what extent. And again, as you said, we got to define these variables, whether autonomy means what. The curriculum was always there. We can still do it. We can pass that in an academic council and can run that course, maybe a certificate course, which again NEP is saying there will be certificate, diploma and degree and multi-exit and multi-entry. So maybe a certificate course can be designed. And again, in autonomy, I am reminded of an incident where a faculty of IIT Kharagpur started teaching a course in the campus, and he was utilizing the campus infrastructure after the university hours. And I think if you can recollect it, it must be a 10-year-old, or you can Google it, that will come. He was badly, very, very badly punished for doing this, because in the service conditions or the appointment conditions of you and I, we are also a part of this system. He was not allowed to do that, though there was no financial gain or any kind of a gain. It was simply those students who are not inside the building but outside the campus are enrolled and learning, which we call coaching institutes nowadays. But it was not like a coaching, but he was doing his own, like, I am a professor of a repute and I am offering a course. And he was, I think, prisoned or something, was very, very badly treated. So autonomy, maybe something sometimes is not what we say ahead of the times. If some step is taken, then it is not really appreciated or rewarded in that fashion. Yes. Any ideas, any thoughts on it? So the next strategy is revamping curriculum, that we are doing pedagogy, assessment, student support for enhanced student experiences. This is very important. How much we are doing to enhance student experiences.
Ma'am, we have another lecture scheduled at 5:30.
Okay, fine. So I will close it here. No issues. Yeah.
Aftaf Saab is there, so sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So these are the strategies. We will take it with us, and we can think about it.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Requested to please
Thank
join.
you, ma'am. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Person already joined the link. Please join the link.
Thank
right
you
now.
so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.